Hi, everyone. It's Jennifer Urizio again with real conversations with really cool people doing really cool things. That name is such a tongue twister for me. Oh, my Siri's going off asking me questions. And I am talking to the lovely and talented Danielle. Here's what I love about this individual. First of all, let's just put what she does on a business aside because that's really groovy and exciting. But she's one of the most generous people I know. She invited me to this brunch, and then she gave me a gift at the brunch as well, which was this amazing bottle of olive oil from Israel. And every time we use it, Warner gets so excited. He's like, "We're using our bottle from Israel." So excited. So welcome to Danielle. So let's just give people like the form of who are you and what you do in your own words. Like, what's your source of goodness that you offer the world?
So thank you for having me, first
You're
of
welcome.
all. What I do is I am helping business owners, experts, coaches, consultants really find their voice in copy and also launch in a way that feels good to them. I have a program called Launch Flow, and it's really, really all about throwing away what is expected in a launch and getting to the flow that works for you.
I, lo- I
Um,
I
yeah.
love that. And I think so often when people have to launch something, they go into lockdown. They practice those fear and flight reactions and they lock down and not just the flow stops, but the actual launch stops. Why why is it easier to kind of get on board with this kind of understanding your own flow when it comes to a launch versus doing what the experts tell you to do?
So two things. One, there are a lot of ways that marketing works. There are a lot of different strategies. There are a lot of different tactics. They all work when you do them with the right energy behind them and the right offer and messaging. So those are the important parts. That's what we focus on. In terms of the strategy, that tends to flow more naturally when all of that feels good to you, because then you're really confident in it. So we're not working just on the offer and messaging and marketing, and although we're doing all that stuff, we're also thinking, how am I managing my energy through this launch? What energy am I showing up with when I'm doing a live or a webinar or a video or an email, even? Like, what am I bringing to that? And how does that energy influence the result that I get?
I love that. I mean, I love that because I think so often people are trying to do their launch with very bro marketing, very like, you got to do it this way. And that makes most spiritual renegades, most master intuitives cringe because they can't do it like that individual does it.
And you can't really, that's why there's no one prescription. Everyone's like, well, what's your method for launching? I'm like, there is none. There's a process that we follow to find the one that is right for you. And the thing about most of the ways that we're told to market and launch, and like, you have to have a whole list of super inflated bonuses, and you have to send 10 bajillion Coast Cart emails, and it all just makes us feel deeply uncomfortable. And that feeling of discomfort, if you are uncomfortable with what you're doing, like, if you think about it intuitively, it's not going to get you the result that you want,
No, it's going to have people running, screaming from their room.
because they'll
So,
feel that.
right, they know that even if they're not fully conscious of it. I also think as a renegade, right, and as somebody that is highly innovative and highly intuitive, I kind of feel like, "Ugh, I got to do another email, I got to do a video." Like, what are some of the kind of new ways of or tactics that are occurring in the marketplace that somebody with a renegade style might want to be aware of?
So I'm going to say email. I'm going to say it might be slightly controversial. Email is the cockroach of the marketing world. It still works. It's still going to work. It's not going anywhere. It is not going to die. People have tried to kill it for the past, I don't know how many years, not dead. So you should have some sort of email list building strategy. That said, within that, there are a million ways that you can make it work for you, right? the stories that you're telling. You can have it super short email linked to a video. You can write, super long emails if that's what you want. You can shake it up. And it's really about feeling like, how do I want to say the thing that I need to say and that the world needs to hear? And what is my strength, my talent, and the format that is going to best fit that skill set that I have?
I love that. So on a personal note, what are some of the things, or what is some of the kind of inside the mind of Danielle that you want people to know about you? I think, we all have these business hats, and I think sometimes people don't know us as, like, for years, I didn't realize how funny I was until someone went, "You're really funny." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then the other day I was talking to Iris Goldfeder, and I go, "I'm really funny." So what are some of those little quirks about you that you want to share with the audience?
So I actually recently discovered, and it's not, I don't know, you know how you grow up and you have an image of yourself as this, the labels that people have given to you, right? Oh, you're a perfectionist, or you're, such a good student, or you're a type A, or whatever it is. Turns out I'm not. And right, like I read lots of books. I still read tons of books, very fast reader. I don't know, I can get through 4 books in a day if that's the only thing I'm doing. And yes, so I was like, this bookish, library, nerdy, geeky, whatever. And then as you grow up and you like outgrow these labels and you step into different versions of yourself and you realize, oh, that was there all along, actually. And it only took people reflecting back, like it's almost like relabeling
Yeah.
in a way your new adult self, and you're like, oh, okay, I accept that about me. I'm willing to redefine this preconceived thing that I had about being a perfectionist. And the reason that I bring up the perfectionism is it's actually related to this new thing that I'm launching and teaching about, which is called the studio audience advantage. And it's basically how I've filmed all of my programs. What I'll do, and I won't repeat the entire thing to you because I'm teaching a workshop about it, but what's going to happen is you actually get paid to create your thing, and you do it in a way to record your course, and you do it in a way that has that energy of audience interaction,
Love it.
and gives people an amazing experience. And the slides don't have to be perfect. The delivery doesn't have to be perfect. And after I realized, and I had created all my courses this way, I'm like, I can't be a perfectionist if I'm doing it this way. Like, that doesn't jive. That doesn't work. Nope.
Oh, I mean, I get what you're saying, because on one side I want to, I want to provide accurate, I want to be good, I want to provide value, and on the other side I don't like homework. So, I do everything like, oh, so it's time, like I have a talk at 6:30, right? I'm like, oh, what time should I focus on that talk? Oh, 6 o'clock. Okay. Like, I just, that's the way that I like to do it. I like to go by the seat of my pants with a little planning. So I totally understand what you're saying. And I kind of like it.
And what works, and I think why you're so good at it, why I've discovered that I'm better than I thought, is because that leaving space for the intuition, for the thing that needs to come through that you did not know that you were going to say, and trusting that you have it and it's actually going to be expressed in the right context, in the right situation.
Yeah, and I think that's the internal job, right? It's like having that really safety within who you are, and that understanding of, okay, I got this, and if I don't have it, universe tree Bob God Cupcake is going to step in and go, "Oh, Jen, you should say this little thing," and I'll be like, "Oh, I should say this little thing." I have a class. It's the guarding class. It's about metaphysically guarding and manifestation. And we met on Monday, and I was like, listen, guys, I don't know what I'm teaching today. I was like, perfectly. I was like, so start to share and something will happen. And one of the participants was, listen, I want to talk to you about that class on Monday. I was like, oh, did it suck? She goes, no, it was freaking awesome. I was like, okay, because, I was just doing it totally by the seat of my pants. Um, okay, how do they get more of your goodness, Danielle?
Well, as I mentioned, I don't know when this is going to come out, but I am doing
2
that
weeks,
live.
2 weeks.
Okay, well, June 27th, exactly 2 weeks. So it's today, y'all. I'm doing the studio audience workshop. I also have my Launch Flow Accelerator program, which is how we actually develop your own personal launch flow. And you can find me on Instagram and LinkedIn. I will answer messages over there. Just find me and say, hey, and we can chat. Love to connect.
And all of that will be in the show notes below. You know, as you all know, and if you don't know, you haven't been watching or listening to me at all, that I have been listening to Barbara Streisand's "Oh, Barbara, please, please contact me because I want to have a conversation with you." But I've been listening to her audiobook. It's 55 hours long, Danielle, and I'm like on the 35th hour. But she really likes to do all of her acting in one take because she feels like that's the first take is the best take for her. And I get that. And I get what you're saying because there's such power, there's such spontaneity, there's such in the present moment with that first kind of take that it creates a real vibe for the audience.
Yeah, definitely. And things come through and this is, I don't know, something that I've been stepping into more and more, just saying, okay, I'm going to create space for something good and I'm going to trust that amazing thing is going to happen. And as I'm like that here's the message. Here's what I want everybody to hear. Motion. Like once you start doing it, once you start moving, you get smarter as you go, right? The thing that it's meant to be gets clearer as you move. So if you are stuck on something, I had a program of mine sit in my Google Drive for 2 years, 80% finished, and I did not launch it. And as soon as it got moving, that tiny little program unlocked everything else for me. And so if there is something that is almost done or stuck or that you've been thinking about that keeps coming back to you, start moving with it.
I
Push it
love that.
just a little bit further and see what happens.
I love it. So I've been doing crossword puzzles lately, and part of it is like this. There's a option where you could do like a little word search, and it's like a minute, and I'm like, oh, a minute. So I've been doing them for a week, and I was like, oh my god, my word score is going up. Like I am getting faster, and so I love this. And here's the thing: when we move forward, if you set the intention to move forward with that opening for something good to drop in, it will, right? Don't start moving because you feel pressured or
Mm,
that bro marketing is telling you to move forward.
right, right. In a way, if it doesn't feel good, don't do it. But still, there's, and again, this is why launch and flow, and I really put them together. It's one word because sometimes you do need that momentum of something on the calendar, like it's happening, it's real. You know, there's a deadline. There are people waiting for you to do this to actually get over yourself and do it, and balancing that with the flow, with what feels good, with what feels right.
Thank you. The more time I spend with you, the more I adore you. And I know like all of the wealth and wisdom in your head, right? So every time we have a conversation, you spark something like, oh, let me write that down because that's really good. Like, let me start to implement it. So, guys, people, go hang out with Danielle. You won't be sorry. And thank you so much for spending time with me today.
Thank you. The feeling is mutual. It is always a pleasure.
Thank you. All right, everyone. Bye for now.